Welcome to Womanhood GFF, God, Friends, and Family. And if you have your Bible, turn to Luke 19, verses 1 through 10. We are picking up where we left and stopped with, do you keep others from seeing Jesus? Do I keep others from seeing Jesus? We'd introduced Zacchaeus and how his size was obvious and that his money was obvious and his position, that his job title was obvious and very well hated. But he would go home at the end of the day sad and lonely and discouraged and probably in despair, to where he learned very quickly money was not the answer. Money did not give him satisfaction. Money did not give him happiness. He was looking for something. Are you looking for something? What did he find? Where did he look? As he would go into these towns and collect money, he began to notice changes each time he'd come back. Each time he'd come back, there'd be some small child that the last time he was there was sick and almost dying and was cured. Children who were crippled and never have run in the road ever before was running and jumping around in front of him and kicking rocks. Adult men who had laid on mats with their hands out begging for change as he would walk by were suddenly walking around or in their yards working. Women who were crying and sad because of having loved ones to pass away was smiling and rejoicing because their loved one had been raised from the dead. Something has been going on, and every time he'd come back into town, he would always find something else happening and changing in the lives of the people. What was it? Who was it? How was it happening? He began to inquire and to ask these questions. Some people may have been resistant to tell him because, after all, they hated him. He was too mean and too much of a thief for Jesus. But he had heard that it was a guy named Jesus, and he just had to see him. And this one trip in to collect taxes, he had heard that Jesus was coming into that town. Oh, man, he couldn't wait. He wanted to know who it was that was making these children now be able to run and skip in the road. Who was making these men who get off their mats and be in their yards working? Who was this man who created such sorrow into a woman and gave her joy and happiness when their brother was raised from the dead, or when they heard of daughters and nieces being cured from diseases and sicknesses? Who was this guy? What did he look like? What could he do for me? Could he make me taller? Could he make me happy? Could he give me friends? Who was this guy? He wanted to see him. And as he gathered in the area where everybody was in order to see him, he tried to make his way through, but the Bible said he couldn't see because of the press. He couldn't see because of the people that stood there. And when they found out that it was Zacchaeus, it was like, oh, they squeezed tighter together because they were not going to let him get through where they're standing. I mean, he's not going to see Jesus around them. But he was so determined to find out who this man was. Who was the man that could come into a village and change the hearts and the lives and the physical well-being of these people? Who was he? So he ran ahead of this big parade, knowing exactly where it was going to end, and he climbed up a big sycamore tree. And he sat on the top limb, and there he is, just sitting there. And he's waiting and waiting. And as the crowd of people get closer and closer, he's looking, he's trying to find out. Where is he? Which one? Which one? Which one? And as the crowd gets under him, and the noise, and the laughter, and the talking, and the touching, and the hugging, and finally, this guy stops. And he looks up. And he says, Zacchaeus, you come down, because today I'm going to go to your house. And Zacchaeus sat up in that limb of that tree and looked down, and he thought, oh, that's got to be him. Come on, Zacchaeus. I want you to come on down. I want you to take me to your house. He tells me, how do you know I was up here? he wants me to come down and he's going to go to my house. So he does, and Jesus leaves and goes with him. And the people, instead of going, yay, Zacchaeus has finally found Jesus, they were like, huh? You mean to tell me that Jesus wants to go home with him? He has stolen hundreds of dollars from my family. He has robbed us under the name of Rome through tax collecting, and Jesus is going to go home with that loser? Ah. You want to find out what else happens? You'll have to watch and be here for the next clip. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for stopping. Thank you for visiting with me for a few minutes at Womanhood GFF, God, Friends, and Family. You can email me with any questions or comments at womanhoodgff@yahoo.com. Visit me at our blog website at www.womanhoodgff.blogspot.com. Thanks again for stopping by. Have a blessed day. See ya.